What's going on, fight fans? UFC commentator John Gooden with you all night long. 4 quick hits. It is UFC 257, Poirier versus McGregor 2. Delighted to have your company. Some housekeeping, some requests from me. Tonight, we will be bringing you post-fight interviews, looks down here, down the hallways, in the belly of the beast all night long. You need to keep your tablet and your phone open at all times while you've got those fights going on. While you enjoy the fights, when you're just about to switch that kettle on, break out a beer, we're going to bring you something. So keep us going all night long. Delighted to be with you, and we get the night going with plenty of energy. One of my favorite people in the MMA business right now, Yanni the Greek. Let's bring in our Vegas insider. Yanni, how you doing?
Never better. Thanks for having me. It's Conor McGregor night, so I feel like I should be wearing a suit and tie. I feel a little underdressed for the occasion because it's almost like when he fights and is a main event, because I've been out around that experience, and it reminds me of a main event in boxing, what Floyd Mayweather would bring out, where people would come dressed to the nines, and it was like celebrity sight night. So I feel a little underdressed for the segment, but hopefully we've got some winners, more important.
Yeah, no, I am a little disappointed. I thought that you were going to put a nice tie on and a jacket, but you know, no judgment here. But listen, what's it like in the fight capital right now over in Las Vegas? Let me know what that energy's like, because right here it's early hours in the morning, but there's a feeling that we're about to see something big.
The timing could not be more perfect, because we're within 24 hours of the AFC and NFC championship games, which will decide our Super Bowl within the next 2 weeks. And that's as big as it gets here in the States. Couple that with people at the sports books for that event and college basketball being big on Saturdays, and UFC 257 is seeing a ton of volume. We've already seen MMA come out leaps and bounds as far as volume goes. You know, over the last 12 months, it's increased significantly. But with a card like tonight's, it's even more special. And sportsbooks are bracing themselves as they expect the action to just continue throughout the fight as each one goes final.
All right. Well, listen, UFC fans are always interested about what you've got to say on your picks. So let's get started, shall we? And well, let's go from the top. Let's go from the main event. What are we looking at?
I got to tell it like it is. This is one of the bigger bets I've placed in a long time. And I started betting this fight back on November 17th when Conor McGregor was only a minus 200 favorite. And I expected this line to move up because I've said it before and I'll say it again. He is the most underrated, undervalued mixed martial artist for such a big name. He's only been a minus 225 or greater favorite twice over his last 9 fights. But more importantly, just the analytics all support the McGregor side. If you look at historical statistical significance in the rematches, the winner of the first wins the second 65% of the time since UFC 1. Since 2012, it's 70% of the time. If the fighter's favored like McGregor is, it's closer to 80% of the time. And then I hear the argument about Dustin Poirier and the grappling and the wrestling. But to make that argument, you have to look at a big sample size, because over the last 5 fights, he's -9 in takedowns. He has 0 fights with multiple takedowns. And 3 of those 5 fights, he has 0 takedowns. So if you look at a big sample size of analytics, Conor already beat him in that big sample size. So I love the specialist McGregor in this one. Hasn't absorbed much punishment over the last 5 years. I bet McGregor. I love that side. I still think there's value at this heavy chalk price.
Okay, nice. Okay, right. Well, let's have a look at the other big lightweight fight then, shall we, in the co-main event. Michael Chandler walking into the UFC for the very first time, goes up against the Kiwi Dan Hooker. Who you got?
I'm on an island. There's a lot of sharp bettors on the Hooker side. That's why this line's moving up. And I see a lot of pro fighters like the Dan Hooker side. I think there's a ton of value on Chandler. I think this is the perfect example of a coin flip fight. And always the fighter coming from another promotion is going to be at a disadvantage because their strength of schedule is never going to hold up against a UFC top 5, top 10 guy. But you have to weigh the analytics with his strength of schedule. And I think Chandler is going to create some problems for Hooker. And let's not forget, Hooker's absorbed 263 significant strikes over the last 12 months compared to Michael Chandler, who has only seen the second round once in the last 5 fights. I like Chandler to keep this, closer than that line reflects. I took plus 110 on Michael Chandler, and you probably even get better now.
Okay, nice one. Interesting stuff. We're going to go for the high risk, high reward pick. What do we got?
I always say, and there's a handicap in philosophy that other sports, I hear it all the time, but I don't hear it a lot in mixed martial arts. And that's no team is ever as good or as bad as they look in any one game. And it carries over, I think, the mixed martial arts. And Amanda Ribas has looked as good as you can possibly look. Where on the flip side, you have Marina Rodriguez coming in off her first loss. But let's not forget, that loss was to a Carla Esparza, who she was a minus 200 favorite. So the betting market, said Rodriguez should win that fight 2 out of 3 times. Sure, she lost, but there's so much randomness to one outcome of any fight, any game. So we got to be able to look past that. And that's why I think there's a ton of value at getting her at plus 250. And maybe this will go to a decision. If you're really a gambler, you get 4-1 on that, because I think it's skewed towards Ribas finish. And in the women's strawweight, 7 out of 10 times, the judges do get involved. So I like the value on Rodriguez, and I maybe even sprinkle a little. This one gets to the judges.
Okay, I like it. Which leaves us with your parlay pick, sir.
Yeah, let's put the little spotlight back on the women. We got to put McGregor at the top. He's the key tonight to everything. And then let's go with Jessica I. I'm a huge fan of JoJo Calderwood, but in the underdog spot, she's the favorite here tonight. And the problem there is no consistency. She's, over her last 7 fights, she's 3-4. The last 2 times is a favor. She's 0-2. So as much as I love her and even have found spots to back her, I want to do it when she's an underdog, not a favorite. And that's really the argument here. And I think Jessica I, coming off that loss, gives you a little bit of value here on the I side at an even minus 105. And then Sarah McMahon. We already saw the problems Pena had against GDR. It was the stronger type of opponent. And I think McMahon, I rarely bet a fighter who's 10 years older and 40 like McMahon, but I don't think that's as big of a negative stylistically in this matchup. So let's go McGregor, McMahon. We'll put 100 to win about 366. I think that's a nice little score. After last show, which I lost, let's see if we could turn a profit this one.
Nice work. Thank you so much, Yanni. Thank you for your expertise. Good luck. And we'll catch you on the next one. So everyone else watching, we're going to be here all night long across Facebook, across YouTube. As I said, we're going to be speaking with the big winners. We're going to be going down the halls, going to be catching some walkouts, plenty more. So stay locked in, get your tablet or your phone just by your screen so you can watch the fights and then see what we've got to offer you as well. Use the hashtag UFC257 and we'll see you soon.